how many quarterbacks, at least in terms of Pete's eyes, how many quarterbacks would we take above him in terms of just kind of in a vacuum? Would you rather have this guy or this guy? So I'll start with you first here, Trip. Would you rather have Nico as your starting quarterback in 2025 or Drew Aller?
Drew Aller.
I agree. How about Nico or Luke Altmaier?
Luke Altmaier. The experience, what he did last year playing in the league, Luke Altmaier.
A lot of hype with Bryce Underwood. We've yet to see him play an actual Michigan game. Would you buy into the unknown but highly hyped 5-star QB Michigan has, or would you take Nico right now?
Man, both there's a lot of unknowns. How about the picture that's circulating the internet? Speaking of viral tweets, that's circulating the internet of Bryce Underwood right now.
Are you nervous? Oh, look, as a Mets fan who people clowned Juan Soto when he was introduced for having a pot belly, I would not be concerned if I'm Michigan with maybe a little bit of a bigger abdomen than some fans were. Look, he's just putting on a little poundage. He knows he's going to run the ball between the tackles. This is big boy, Big Ten football. Can't be a stick back there. I'm not concerned.
I'm going to buy the hype on. I don't know that Bryce Underwood starts from day one, but I'm going to buy the hype on him. I think that's a tough one because, look, Nico already was a starting quarterback on a college football playoff team in the SEC, and numbers are numbers, but the record's the record. So that's a tough one, but I'm going to buy the hype on Bryce Underwood. I'm going to go with him as a transformational quarterback for Michigan, and I'm going to take Bryce Underwood.
I would agree because I would assume his floor in 2025 is what we kind of saw from Nico last year.
Yeah.
Where, like, in the big games, is he great? Can be relied upon? No. Can he light up some of the lesser opponents? Yeah, I think that's the floor what you can expect from Michigan in 2025. I'm with you. I'll take Bryce Underwood here over Nico as well. How about a guy we saw a little bit more of Trip last year, but now seeing him in a full-time role for the first time? Would you rather have Damon Williams? Would you rather have Nico Iamaleava?
I would say they're probably at the same level. So I'm in the same camp on those guys.
I'll take Damon because I would agree in the sense of, I mean, we saw more Nico and more consistency a little bit. I'll take the upside with Damon Williams. I think I'm buying him as a passer. There's obviously a lot less baggage as well, which I do think has a little bit we can say in this discussion as well. How about Dylan Raiola? Highly hyped, just like Iamaleava. Raiola or Nico?
I know we're trying to give that yes or no answer. I think for the rest of this group, and I don't want to spoil the game we're playing here, but Dylan Raiola, Fernando Mendoza, who transfers from Cal to Indiana, if Julian Sain's the guy at Ohio State, Gronowski at Iowa, Jaden Maiava at USC, Billy Edwards Jr., who transferred to Wisconsin, I hesitate to go one by one and say yes or no for each. I think outside of Aller and Altmaier, because of their experience in being 3-year starters in the league, I would basically lump everyone else in this same group as potential, not exactly sure, and I can't categorize one over. I know that ruins the game and the shock jock approach to the game, but I can't categorize. To me, there's unknowns for each, upside and downside. That's how I view Nico and UCLA. And that, like, even Bryce Underwood, I'm just going to lean that way, but that's a hunch. Everything else would be just a hunch. Even Dylan Raiola, I think very comparable resumes to this point. Probably, I believe in Raiola's upside because of the continuity and less baggage at Nebraska more than I do here. So if you're forcing me to decide, Raiola, but this whole group, big picture, is all very, very similar. Who's going to be the guy to crack the next tier of the top tier of the Big Ten that have the experience of an Aller at Penn State and an Altmaier at Illinois? If you had to pick out of that group, where would you put Nico and who would you take from the group that you think will crack that next tier? Is it him that cracks that top tier?
So to answer your first question, I would take Drew Aller, Luke Altmaier. I would take Bryce Underwood. I would take Damon Williams. I would take Dylan Raiola. I would take Mark Gronowski. And that's about it. So those are what, 4 guys?
6.
6 guys. Holy cow. Great counting by me. You're the math guy here, clearly, on this pod. I would say, to me right now, going to 2025, Nico slides in that 6 or 7 range.
Yeah.
But to your point, like, when you look at other guys like Julian Saint, Fernando Mendoza, even including, a guy like Gronowski, who I think
They're
has
all
a high
upside guys.
floor. Right.
They're all upside guys.
Nico, I think, would have of the second, if you want to say it's Drew Aller, Luca Altmaier, then there's a drop off. Like that's tier one right now going to 2025. I would agree with that. In terms of like the tier two, who can truly make the biggest jump? I think it would be Nico Iamaleava. Like he has all the talent. Like he wasn't this hyped recruit for nothing. He still can play. Now he has to improve himself. He has to get more consistent. He has to read the field better. He has to become more accurate. He has to elevate those around him, which at UCLA is going to have to do big time here in 2025. But when you look at like the possibility, if everything hits for all of these guys, saying Mendoza, Raiola, like if we're saying everything is as good as it can be, who could be that third quarterback or who can leap into that kind of top tier? Nico, I think, has the highest ceiling of any of them. But do I believe he can reach that? I don't. Do I believe he can come closer to UCLA? I really don't. Like maybe he can add a win or two, but he's going to a situation where UCLA was ravaged in the portal. We've talked about, too, their coaching overhaul as well. So there's still a lot of new coaches trying to implement their system and their ideology for the first time. There's no kind of set foundation and expectation. I like Tino Sinceri. I think he can help him as well, but there's a lot he has to prove. There's a lot Nico's going to have to prove here at UCLA in 2025.
I'm surprised, and I know it's a quarterback battle with Moore and Novosad at Oregon. Everyone's kind of thinking it's going to be more. With what Oregon's achieved, they've lost a lot of turnover again. But with what they've achieved offensively, maybe a name that's not even on that list has the highest upside of being the third best quarterback in the Big Ten.
That's a good point. That's a fair point. I guess I put them aside because I figured maybe that's more about the system and the talent. Yep. I tried to at least exclude the talent around them just to make it more about them themselves. But no, you're right. That's unfair by me. And a good job by you of pointing out other, I think Dante Moore could take a huge jump here. And with Oregon, what we expect from them, they should be right there in terms of a top 5, top 10 team, which you would assume would mean good QB